Uh, but it's true. He doesn't like kids. But Jirok tells him basically the moment that he became a father, he held his baby girl in his hands, in his arms for the first time. He said, when I saw her smile for the first time, that you knew you have to change the world for her. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a parent, but Joe, I know you are. And I did tell you before the show, like, I was really interested to hear what you thought about this, because he's basically speaking from the seat of a parent saying, I'm never going to see my child again, but I did this so that my child could have a chance at a better life. Mm-hmm. And it all started in that moment that I first saw her smile, and I knew I had to move mountains for her. Yeah, so I was interested to hear your thoughts on this whole scene as a father yourself, what you thought about it.
I can absolutely relate to what Jirok is saying there about his kid. And because there is, as soon as your kid's born, that first time you hold him and look at him, you just realize that your world has changed. Nothing is going to be the same going forward, because there is now this tiny person in your life that you are absolutely responsible for, and they're absolutely helpless. If you're not there for them, they're not going to make it. And it's something that I remember the heaviness of that settling in on me when I was holding my firstborn at like 3 a.m, absolutely exhausted in the hospital. And the interesting thing about Jirok here is that when he says that, he knows that he must change the world for her, he's actually in a position where he can do it. It's just that to do that, it's easily probably the hardest thing that he's ever had to do, because he's a military man in the Romulan fleet, and he holds he's an admiral's rank, for goodness sake. And so to turn on that, it could only be something like the love of a family that would make you do something like that. And so in this moment, for me, what was so great is that we take this character that has just been, so standoffish and everything up to this point, and it finally humanizes him a little bit, and you can see his perspective. And for me, this is where, kind of the same with Picard. Granted, Picard, he knows he's got that ace in his back pocket. But I think this is where it turns for him also, is because in this moment, the Romulan is humanized.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is the moment where Jirok realizes, I have to go all in. Mm-hmm. I have to. I've already gone all in.
There's no turning back at all now.
There's no turning back. So for me to now play coy and say, well, I won't tell you everything. What's the point? There's no point to that.
It's definitely the moment where he stops lying to himself.
Yes, 100%. He becomes honest with himself. And becomes honest with Picard.
Yeah, because he knows he's not, no matter what he's done, no matter what he hasn't done, he's never going to see his family again. He's already a traitor, whether he had told them anything or not. That's it. This is his future, his lot in life. I don't know,
No, but you're absolutely right. And then he kind of opens up about how he knows about all this stuff, that he basically began to tell the Romulan government, like, we've got to make changes, and I don't want to see us be so warlike. And the government censured him and sent him basically to a far or a distant outpost. And in that distant outpost is when he begins to see reports, communiques, communications about this base on Nelvana 3 and the timetable for troops arriving and all of that. And of course, that's when he decides he will defect. He'll tell the Federation about it so that they can avoid a war, because as he says, even though his child will grow up believing that he's a traitor, at least she will grow up. And that's what he just wanted for her, to have a chance at life. And he felt like if he didn't speak up and didn't try to make changes, then she would not have that chance at life. And I mean, that's all any parent wants, right? They just want their kids to have a chance to make something of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So great scene. I mean, it's the real heart of this whole episode, really. And as you said, Brooke, it's the heart and soul of Star Trek. This whole idea of human stories being told, but like even in alien cultures, alien races, it's still the same basic stories that are being told. And that's how we can relate to each other, even though we're different. So yeah, I mean, it's like classic Trek stuff. It's why I love Star Trek so much. And so, yeah, Picard tells his senior staff, Admiral Jarok is ready to cooperate, give them all the details on all the things, how to track the warbirds, where the fleet is, and they're like, we're going to Nelvana 3. Now they're committed. They're headed into the neutral zone. And now we get, what we don't usually hear is the second officer's log, which is data, of course. Stardate 43465.2, which is Thursday, November 4th, 2365, 12:22 p.m. The Enterprise has entered the neutral zone, violating the Treaty of Algeron, which is the treaty that, of course, established the neutral zone.
So are the Romulans allowed to just cruise around in the neutral zone?
So the way the neutral zone works is it is like a buffer between Federation and Romulan space, but you have to have a valid reason to enter the neutral zone.
Okay.
Like, you can't just go there because you felt like it. If you are a ship in the neutral zone and another ship is like, what are you doing here? Like, you have to be ready to present a valid reason why you're in the neutral zone.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, like the Romulans said that they were doing some sort of surveying.
Yeah, archaeological surveying, yeah.
Yeah, so in the neutral zone, there are planets, and then some of them do belong to the Federation, some belong to Romulus, but I believe part of the treaty is that they're not allowed to set up colonies, because the idea is that if you set up colonies with people living in the neutral zone, how does the other side not know that you're there to spy? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Like, this episode is pretty much like the Cuban Missile Crisis, of the idea of, like, you know, you're setting up your missiles so close to us. Why are you doing that? I don't trust you. You don't trust me, kind of a thing. And so the other part of the Treaty of Algeron was that it basically was a ceasefire to all the war between Romulans and humans, or the Federation. But the Federation agreed in this treaty to never develop cloaking technology. That was a concession they had to make. So that's why no one in the Federation has a cloaking device.
I was going to ask about that, so that's awesome.
It's an agreement they made with the Romulans. And so the Klingons, of course, being outside the Federation, they are not bound to that agreement, and they already had cloaking devices anyway. So,
and there is a episode where it has some stuff that's might happen in the future, and they have it then. They don't ever explain why they have it, right?
In that episode, they explain that the Klingon Empire conquered the Romulan Empire.
Yes.
And so the treaty is like, you know, it's done.
So it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, you know, if you want to see the Enterprise be cloaked or uncloaked or whatever, you could watch the last episode ever.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's true.
Right on.
But, yeah, that's why no one in the Federation has a cloaking device, because they're not allowed to.
It was on my agenda to ask about that, so thank you so much.
So on the bridge, Picard brings up General Custer to Riker as like, well, you know, one of your ancestors, he had a rough time too.
Timely.
It isn't timely, because to peel back the curtain, dear listener, today is what some might call Columbus Day. I choose to call it Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah. And so, interesting that Picard would reference Custer. I felt like, really? Because wasn't he committing genocide? Why would you bring up Custer? But, okay. And Riker is like, let's hope we have better luck than him. And it's like, let's hope you don't try to wipe out an entire race of people.
I think he absolutely went against the Prime Directive.
Mm-hmm.
He not only went into other cultures and messed around. He just obliterated them.
100%. Yeah.
He got
it's just
what he deserved.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No one feels bad for General Custer. Sorry, people.
Not anybody I know.
Yeah, really. So, they arrive at Nelvana 3, but, surprise, surprise, no weapons, no power source, no ships, no base, no people, no nothing. And Riker's like, maybe they all left? And Data's like, there would be scarring on the planet. None of that either. And Picard's like, you know what? Let's get that guy Jarek up here. He needs to start. He's got some splaining to do. And so Jarek gets on the bridge, and Picard's like, dude, what the heck? Nothing's here. What's going on? And, Jarek is like, I saw the timetables. I saw the memos and blah, blah, blah. And then Picard's like, do you think that maybe they were giving you disinformation to test if you were loyal? Because they kind of thought you were disloyal, so maybe this was all a test that you just failed? And at first, Jarek is like, nah, there's no way. And Picard's like, maybe we should leave. And Riker's like, that's a good idea. So they try to leave, but two Romulan warbirds decloak and start firing on the Enterprise. And, of course, they are led... Not good at all. Of course, they are led by the crazy Commander Tomalak, who shows up a lot in this series.
Listen, he's not as crazy unless I see him with some Gowron eyes, okay? Then he'd be really, really crazy.
I agree.
He's just crazy.
If they gave him Gowron eyes. So this character, Tomalak, is played by another character actor who has been in, you guessed it, everything, but has also been in a lot of Star Trek. His name is Andreas Katsoulis, and he has shown up in, I think, almost every iteration of Star Trek. He's shown up in Babylon 5. He played... if anyone remembers the Harrison Ford Fugitive movie, he played the one-armed man in that movie. That's him.
He was the actual fugitive in that movie.
He was the actual one-armed man fugitive. Yeah, exactly. The real guy. But yeah, he's a really great character actor who plays this character Tomalak several times in the series. And basically, Tomalak, he has the upper hand now because they've caught the Enterprise with their pants down of like, why are you in the neutral zone? And Tomalak says that the weird subspace emissions are coming from a cloaked probe that is circling the planet because they're totes interested in archaeology, you guys. And we totally put up a probe. Yeah, that's it. We put up a probe, and we are looking for archaeological stuff because we just love that stuff. And Picard's like, cool beans, bro. So I'll just be on my way, and have a nice day. And, of course, it's never that easy.
She said, cool beans, bro.
Cool beans, bro. Picard keeps it loose. He's like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
And, we get this really cool, like, threatening speech from Tomalak, who's like, I will display the broken hull of the Enterprise in the Senate of Romulus.
What? He's just like, I'm gonna break it into a billion pieces and we're all gonna eat it for breakfast.
I like how he villain monologues here.
He does.
It's the best. He is just ripping pieces of the scenery off and eating them. Like, rah, 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 rah. He's just so
Just like
good.
he's gonna do with the Enterprise.
He's gonna eat the Enterprise. He's gonna take a big bite out of